Welcome back, everybody, to Twin Chickens Podcast. It's me, Arty, the man, and we got Evan, the Eggman.
The Eggman.
We're back in it. All right, real quick. We didn't get to see that many clips last time. Let's see this one real quick to get us rolling in the show.
And you get about 2 seconds to make your decision on what you want.
What do you want to drink?
What do you want to drink?
Sprite, Dr. Pepper Coke, Diet Coke, root beer.
You know, we close at 10. Root beer.
That is me. That is me as a restaurant worker. That used to be me. They're like, do you want chips or guac? And then it'd be like, and I'd be like,
I can see why. I can't imagine people like working restaurants for more than a couple years, especially like fast foodish.
Yeah.
That you're just dealing with people like not deciding.
Yeah, and it's man. I mean, there's a whole Chipotle blog that we're gonna go to eventually, but for right now, welcome back. So, what I wanted to talk to you about, since now you're living in this currently new independent lifestyle, have you ever thought about like investing in yourself, like in terms of like putting money in a savings account or like putting money into stocks and all that kind of stuff?
Definitely a little bit. I have my own savings, but it keeps getting tapped into whenever I need to like buy new gear or do stuff. But
right.
For the most part, I still have a savings. I tried doing stocks. It's not something that really interests me.
Yeah.
Like
by the way, it shouldn't. It's boring as fuck.
It really is, and like I have a friend who's really into it, and cousins who've made a fortune.
Like, I'm into it, but it's boring.
Yeah, and it's not something that like I want to check. It's like I'm using my phone less and less, and it's enlightening me and giving me so much more satisfaction in my life.
How so?
Just not having my phone, because especially seeing how like younger generations or just people my own age are sucked into their phones.
Dude, we live in an age of instant gratification.
Absolutely.
This should have been a main topic for my for VVR, but I'll talk about it real quick. Instant gratification is in a sense, we need this now, right in this moment. Everything now. Arcade fire. kind of shit. Essentially, because our lives are somewhat overwhelming, and a lot of teenagers' lives are, well, not overwhelming, but they just don't have any fun things outside of reality.
Mm-hmm.
That they delve into their phone as an escapism for their own lives. More now, because people are not making moves to actively just have fun on a day-to-day basis, because as a person, as a human being, you're able to do anything. You're able to do a lot of things. You have a lot of power as a person. You know, and that's what's always astonished me as people. But then when I see someone on their phone during a conversation or at like a beautiful place, like in fucking, I don't know, like at a waterfall, and they're just on their phone, it's like, how are you not fucking, like, look at this, it's raining from the sky, like, what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm one of those people that's just, I'm fascinated about a lot of things because I like to live in this moment, in this time, but I feel like I'm one of the very rare who do.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
A friend made maybe it's ironically, a friend made a post on Instagram on his story. He hasn't been on Instagram for years.
Yeah.
But recently just posted every now and again. It was just this picture of, was it like past, present, future? And the past and future were big bubbles for like the majority of people, and moving into a healthier mindset. The next picture was, little past, big present, little future. Just like change your mindset or your reality of not always getting sucked into your thoughts or letting them whatever, because if you're not here, you're never gonna be here.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of times it's just hard to find people to actually have a genuine conversation with. And actually, like, this podcasting right here is a perfect example of like us just digging into each other.
And absolutely. And also, like, I'm really enjoying being able to have these conversations and doing it consistently, because having more thoughtful conversation rather than just meaningless small talk, I guess.
Small talk, yeah.
That's just something that can passively go on. Like, I feel it's easy enough as a human being just to have that on autopilot.
Yep.
But to use your brain and do that, you have to be in the present moment to actually consciously make words happen.
In a sense, what you're doing, since you told me about like you write your journals and stuff, or you take your thoughts on your journals, you're actively doing that right now. You just haven't put it into paper.
Yeah.
This is kind of like in a sense of that, and a lot of people just don't have the time to do that. Don't have the time to soul search. There's quite a few people on our not in our friends list, but just that I know of that just like are really down in their lives and just need something more. You know what I mean? Need, besides their phone, to be an escapism. I see a lot of trails of not depression, but just isolation, where they just don't know what to do next. But for me, I've always associated with people, those kind of people that don't know what to do, or just like are just in this bubble of like, I'm never gonna do anything. You just haven't done anything yet.
Yeah, and it's hard
possible.
to.
You can do it.
People in those mindsets, I'm not sure how to go from what you just said, but people, or at least I know from personal experience, that when you get in a mindset, it's easy to echo chamber yourself or like repeat the same thoughts without, unless you change your behavior or like your surroundings or whatever, or create some sort of change that isn't the same repetitions or routine, your thought process will be the same.
And what you just described was the definition of madness.
Yeah.
That is...
thinking that you're going to have different results doing the same thing over.
A lot of people are mad. Well, what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to come off as an egotistical dick. What I'm trying to say is like, you can do a lot of things in this life. In a day, you can do a lot of things. You just have to.
Did I share with you, or did we talk about it all? There was a video I think I found, it might have been on TikTok or Instagram, but regardless, there was somebody that said every day for the rest of your life, if you had $84,000 and you could spend it all, and every morning you woke up, you'd have another $84,000, what would you do with it? Would you let it waste till you spend it or whatever? How would you do that? And the ultimate like punchline was that you have like 84,000 seconds. Are you gonna just waste it every day? You know, like you could spend $1,000 of it, and it wouldn't matter because the next day when you wake up, you'll be back at the 84,000.
Right.
So would you go through your day and try to spend as much as possible and make the most of it, or just let it sit? Because it doesn't matter. You can't save it. You won't have that money anymore. It'll just be always reset.
Interesting. If life was like that, like every day I just get like a new balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
A new balance every single day. I'd be making moves.
Definitely.
Be making moves.
That is like the people though, for people who want to see or love maybe
the optimism,
or I'm trying to think of words. I'm really tired. Finances.
Yeah.
It should be motivating, like seeing like, oh, $84,000. Well, time is money, or like what you do. The only thing we have in this life is time.
Yeah.
Like money is just a substance that we just all made up.
Yeah.
And time is just a construct, but the way we view it, I guess. Ultimately, just do things with what you have and don't squander it.
That was the main thing. Do things with what you have, which is a great thing because, like I said, just being able to get into a healthy routine of just actively pursuing a dream. And I think it starts from there, actually. Once you have a dream, you like when you wake up every single day, it should be like, oh, I need to take one step forward, even if it's a small one, to get into that. And
giving yourself time to grow or learn. I'm starting to realize, I think I mention it quite frequently, but I used to be very negative and whatnot when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
As probably a lot of teenagers are, I would assume. But getting out of that mindset and that habit and those rituals that I had of just like, all this constant negativity, to change and wake up every morning and see that I'm living my fucking dream. I'm having so much enjoyment of it, but waking up every morning to ask myself, what can I learn today or grow a little bit? Yeah. It might only be something musical, or if it's through a conversation, I try to tell myself, and it's very hard for me to. Yeah. But whenever I talk to somebody, I want to be in the mindset of what can I fucking learn from that person? Exactly. Through this conversation, what am I learning?
Well, that's what I was gonna. That's perfect. We're going back. So, like I told you in the beginning of this podcast, I wanted to tell you about like what your financial statue were, or if you had any ideas of it, because what you should have done, and I don't know if you were doing this before, was investing in yourself, right? You have to put money away so it could grow. Basically, you're raising a nest egg, right?
Absolutely.
In a sense. And I don't know if you've done that yet, but right now is the perfect time, because in a couple months from now, you won't have a reliable backing for it.
And I've had plans for years, and then this past year has been a lot of change and a lot of stuff happening, that it's been go for the past, well, ever since I had surgery, actually. Life has picked back up and it's full steam ahead, and so there's been zero downtime where I've had a day to myself. I haven't had a day off.
Yeah, and those days I need them, dude. This whole when I first started the band, it was just every day go, and I was suffocating, because I need a day. If I don't have a day to myself to just walk around naked in my apartment, what's the point?
Yeah. And so I think that's where it comes from. If you don't have a day for yourself, you don't get to reflect or see what are my relationships like? How quality are they? Oh shit, I don't have a good enough quality relationship with my sister. I need to spend more time with her and develop it and whatnot, or this, that. And now that it's been a few months, it's okay, now I have to get my finances in order and figure that out. And so it sucks when things build up and you realize that, shit's gonna go down the drain real quick if it keeps building up further.
Yeah, as we say in Hispanic terms, you have to put the batteries in.
Can you elaborate on that?
That's something we would say, it's kind of like a metaphor of pick up the pace kind of shit.
Okay.
Say your dad is slacking of I don't know, not mowing the lawn. The mom or whoever would be hey, you gotta put the batteries in. Let's get yourself energized.
Okay.
That's what it means.
I like it.
So for me, just to give you my little background, I've been wanting to always be independent, financially independent. That has been a goal and a dream of mine since way yonder. I hate working. I hate the idea of working for somebody else. I hate the idea of even. It's been a while. Ever since I left my restaurant life and I gave up on this dream of becoming a manager. This dream of after I left that dream, I was just no, I have a dream now. I know what I want to do, and I know how to do it, but I can't do it now because I don't have this time. And it's been months now. It's been years that I'm still on this thing. Yes, even though I started a company to get myself in financially away, I'm still in this constant cycle. But I'm always thinking, how do I get myself out of it? That's why I joined Amway. If you guys don't know what Amway is, it's a marketing company. What's it called? It's this huge thing, which is basically not underground, but it's more of a thing of investing in yourself. Basically, you buy from your own thing and then you have money returned to you. It's actually, the premise is genius, but it's flawed. And I want to bring other people onto here that are still in the thing where we could actually talk about the idea of financial independence. Not to say Amway isn't a terrible thing. It's a great thing, but it just wasn't for me. Amway's it's fantastic, but it's just not for me.
I think everybody has to find their own way of investing in themselves, or what motivates them to do something. If you're into airplanes and want to be a pilot, there's so much you could do. You could fly an airplane and get paid by the hour, or start your own company flying people, or you start doing that and then you own the company and you hire people to fly planes and you just get paid for the tickets. Or you find your own ways to do what you love.
Right.
And make a living off of it.
Yeah. For right now, what I've been doing is raising a golden egg. Doing the nest egg
and developing it.
Yeah. So this is the thing that I want to go back at school and actually just teach, because these are things that people will not teach you, and how to invest in yourself. How to actually just, if you make $1,500 every 2 weeks or whatever, instead of taking all of that and just going to the casino, which is what I used to do, because I wasn't taught these things and I was an idiot. Basically, when I was around 15 to 20, that's what I was doing. Wasting all of my fucking money, right? But in that time, when you're making money and you have this check, you have to take some amount of it and put it either into a savings account that's going to grow. Right now, I have Betterment. Betterment's one of the ones where it's an automated system that invests into stocks depending on your risk level. But you set a goal. By next year, I have a goal right now that I want to make $4,000. And obviously, the more I put into it, I put $100 in every so while, and then it grows, right? Obviously. But what's great about this is that it uses the stock market to push your investment even more. So Obviously, the more money you get in, the more dividends you get. It's fucking genius. That's what I'm talking about. These are the things that people don't tell you. If you were to invest now, right, like $50 a week or $200 a month, it's by the time you're 30 or 45, obviously it's just money that like you have, and not to spare, but you like, it's just sitting there. You should do something with it. That's the thing that I'm trying to tell you. Instead of using it to go buy alcohol, to go buy another vape pen, to go do whatever the fuck, or coffee, it just adds up. Not to say you can't do those things like coffee. I mean, I buy a instant coffee thing and then I'm good.
And I think it's so important, and I stress it upon myself. There's routines I fall in and out of, and I guess I've allowed myself to do things. But knowing your like, not limitations, what's the word? Moderation.
Yeah.
Like there's, probably bad habits that I've developed, but I know that I can set goals and like, oh, hey, I want to quit this for a while or take a break from it. I write it down on a sticky note and I sign it and have another signature when the date is complete. Like, hey,
that's a genius idea.
I did 2 months without this thing, without getting coffee, or I don't know, whatever stuff I might spend. Like, it's a way to limit myself, or it's something that I can do.
Yeah.
That moderation, like, even, let's just use coffee as an example.
Yeah.
Like
$5 a day.
It's easy to get addicted to like routines. Like, you do it enough, you're gonna just keep going, and it feels like you can't live without it. And then there's, not to mention any kind of drugs, you'll have withdrawals from them.
Yeah.
And they suck ass.
They can.
Mm-hmm. If you do it right and moderate yourself down,
you have to take steps. And being cold turkey is not easy or not even recommended. I don't think just cutting it all together, it's just gonna fuck you up so much. Just taking those steps down, walking down the steps again. And
there's even like channels like Psych Substance, which is super grateful for those like that experiment with other random drugs. And he was talking about, there was one random YouTube like 3 a.m. video I watched.
Yeah.
He's tried crazy things that are extremely addictive.
Yeah.
But following through and committing to your like a plan. So if you want to try something or whatever, I don't think I could ever bring myself to trying more addictive substances.
Right.
But you have a dose of something, and you could take it for a few days, and then know that you will incrementally slow it down. So if it were coffee, like you had 3 cups a day, like some people, you start bringing it down to 2 for a few days, and then 1, or whatever it is. But
that's exactly it.
Knowing moderation is kind of the main point. Did you have something to say about it?
No, that was it. It was actually the way I thought about it was actually money. Like, because I used to go to the gas station every day and buy a cup of coffee in the morning.
Okay.
But now that I have a instant thing that's like, I can make 30 cups of coffee. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. It's
so
like,
you could have the coffee, but you're saving way more money by how you do it.
Exactly. That's the main thing. One of the greatest life advices I've ever gotten from my best friend back at Chipotle. He told me, if you don't use like the $1 or $2 to buy the soda cup, and just get the water cup, it just saves you the $1 for the next day. And I at the time was just like, well, then I'm just gonna buy it the next day. But that's not the point. The point is, when you get paid again, you would have saved up all that money from the day to the day you got paid. All that money adds up. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And water is just much more healthier for you. The day that I decided to cut out all like the sodas and sugars was like the best thing for me. Like it just did so much.
And within
for
a
my
week,
system.
I bet you started feeling way better.
Oh, fuck yeah. So much better. But that's what I'm saying. It's like saving the $1 a day, $1 a day, investing in yourself. These are things that I don't know if you've done them or you're going to do them, but you should definitely do them. And I can walk you through all of those things as well. Making a plan, a budget, and everything, which I'm pretty sure you're well of. Like, oh, I only have $100 for this week. Oh, I only have $20, whatever the fuck.
And I think it's super healthy to have these conversations. Like, I've known of it, and even that quote, I think it's a Benjamin Franklin quote. That was like a penny saved is a penny earned.
Yep.
And in that case, it was $1.
Yep.
But I think it was him. But regardless,
something like that. Yeah.
Even just knowing these things, it's another thing to apply it. And I think it's beneficial. Like, not everybody should have to go through things alone. So even if we talk about it or go over stuff, or you help me with something, I help you, like having a shared thing where we can all grow together.
Yeah, well, that's what me and Jacob were doing. Jacob was my cousin, the best friend from Chipotle's, way back in the day. we talk every once in a while. Like, he'll just call me up randomly, and I'm like, this is how I know he's a friend, because he'll just call me up like, hey, how you doing? People don't fucking do that to me. You know what I'm saying? So like when he does it, I'm like, oh fuck, hi. So there was back in. He told me about Dogecoin, obviously, when it first came out, and then before it even skyrocketed, you know, he told me like these little things, because he wanted to build a network of people that like just lived in the stock market kind of thing, where like if a stock goes up and it's trending well, then it's in a group chat kind of thing, right? And then we're like, oh, we should invest this much to your own moderation, or whatever the fuck, to your own discretion, I should say. And the whole communication of like, okay, we're just building wealth within our group, and we're spreading this knowledge within ourselves, because his standpoint was that he's seeing what we see. People are just not doing that. So he wanted to create that for the benefit of his family, his cousins. People that are just not wasting their lives, but just partying a lot, you know, and just like not really thinking about these things. You know, they all do a lot of different things, but he wanted to do that, create what's it called? A safe environment to share wealth. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was such a brilliant fucking idea. I mean, right now, since he told me about Dogecoin, like opening up a Coinbase account, I've been doing more Bitcoin stuff, but it's more of like, if I knew how to navigate it better, like if people will just on the internet, from what I've seen on YouTube videos, it's like, oh, this is what's trending up, this is what's going down, this is what you should prepare for. But they don't really go into like, hey, you should know when to do a dollar cost average, when to invest in a dollar cost average. You know what I mean? Shit like that.
And if you want to get more into it, I'm not personally interested right now in it, but my friend Quaid is like into finances and does a decent amount of investing. Maybe not a lot of money, but knows more about it. And you could definitely talk to him about it.
I would love to talk to him, because the main thing is the whole point is just financial independence, going back to square one. Yeah. This whole thing. It's because you're going to be at a point where you probably will never get there. But there was a point where I didn't even have $20 to my name. And my sister said she was going to give me money. She never did. And I basically didn't eat nothing for the entire day. I was dead. I felt like I was going to fucking die. But at that point, I was just like, I never want to be here again. What do I do to never be here? And then I learned about opening a business, how to create more money, all this stuff. I've delved into so many things to get myself out of that one spot. I would hope I'm never going to get there again. But the main thing is, again, back to that philosophy that I told you a long time ago. Once you make your first $1,000, if you lose it, doesn't matter. You're going to know how to get it again. If you make $1 million, doesn't matter if you lose it, because you know how to get it again. Yeah. You know what I mean? The mentality of a billionaire, not a billionaire, what's it called? Of a wealthy man, of a rich man. Basically, not the money is irrelevant. It's more about the fact of like
the mindset and how you do things. Once you have that acquired knowledge, you can take it and apply it anywhere.
Yeah. So basically, wrapping this up. We have 7 minutes. We're good. The main thing is about I'm creating different points of what's it called? Financial. I forget what it's called. Routes or paths, essentially. So. In terms of my business is my first priority, right? It's the thing that gets me the most money is my business, but I also make music, so I have another income source. That's what it is. Creating multiple sources of income. Passive income is not real. Passive income is a fake agenda. It only works in the stock market. Is the only way I've ever saw it.
Real estate.
Real estate kind of shit. And you can invest in real estate. I'm investing in real estate right now, and it's making me a good amount of dividend. But anyone else that tries to sell you this thing of like, oh, you can make passive income. No, they're actively making a marketing to get you to get into a thing so you can actively make a thing, a website, do whatever, and then so you can try to make this passive thing that will probably happen once in a million.
Completely passive. It's like I can't speak words. Redirecting your time and energy. So exactly. Like instead of working set hours, if you have like a business or something, your time and energy will still be focused on like doing the book work or doing this or that. Yep. So that if you were doing real estate, you might do 2 months of fixing up the place, you rent it out, and you don't have to work on it, but you're still going to have to collect the checks. You're going to have to keep up with the finances and do all the book work to send in for the taxes at the end of the year, making sure that, a water heat broke, you have the finances to be able to go in and either pay for it done or do it yourself.
Yep.
So it's not completely just passive where you don't do anything.
It doesn't exist. That's passive
income. Except for, I guess, those very few fortunate. I wouldn't say lucky, but those people on maybe YouTube or other platforms that can create a video and just.
But that's the thing. You're actively making a video.
But if you made a video and it's or like a music video.
Yeah.
Who was it? Ariana Grande. I saw it was just randomly in my YouTube feed. I was watching covers to try to learn a song, and right next to it was Ariana Grande, and it's like, whoa, she has 1 billion views on a song. I'm like, holy shit, how much money on revenue are you making?
She makes money, but it's because of the music industry. Her songs are partially hers. I'm not sure what the whole contract is, but yeah, she makes a good amount of money.
But just imagine, like, if you spend like whatever it is, if somebody just gave you a song, like, hey, if you just sing on it, spend 2 days in the studio, and then for the next couple years, you're gonna get at least a couple percentage of royalties.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of somewhat passive income. You did the work for it, and that'll roll in for a while.
Well, no, that's not the thing. It's an active thing. You actively did that. Passively, like we were saying.
Would you elaborate on it or explain it?
Because you have to go into the studio. You have to make the songs. It's not a bad thing, but this thing, and you're right. It is sort of in a sense passive, but it's never ever really passive, because if you stopped doing it, I'm not Ariana Grande. If I stopped making music, I'm not going to get any more money from it. I'm going to get some, but not as much as I could if I made another one. You know what I'm saying? And you have to actively make more. You have to actively do more. That's what I'm saying, though. It's choose a thing that you want to do that's going to make you happy. You know, your return on investment. For you, you go out to go play at a bar or like at a show or whatever, and then you get paid back an investment. You know, your time is not wasted. It's still there. But that's what I'm saying. Like, this passive income stream, it only works. I've only ever seen it work in the stock market, where like if you get dividends back, but then again you have to actively like invest money. But it's sort of like this thing of like nothing is ever really passive. It's active and up to a point, and then Ariana Grande, like after like a month or so, she will passively get that money for sure, and that's gonna go on for the rest of her life. But she made that, you know, she had to actively do that. If she never acted on it, that's the main thing.
It's like semantics of like language, the way we're describing things. It just, it will still require effort to do anything. But isn't that like the point of life? If you just, I'm very grateful and I love my family, but almost I'm adapting a different mindset of like, why be blessed? I am so grateful for everything in my life. Yeah. But to almost be blessed with a harder life is better, because you get to learn, grow, and actually have a development. Whereas if you were just like given everything, can be appreciative, but there's so much more appreciation and gratitude for the self growth and development.
Well, I disagree. I mean, you could still be given everything, or you could still be given nothing, and it's just what you do. What you choose to do with it.
I suppose the mindset and what you tell yourself.
Yeah, because you could start out from nothing and still stay at nothing. You could be giving everything and still stay at everything. You know what I mean? Like there's all of these things. Even if you, like, for me,
interesting.
If I just had this other, like, if I had more love in my life, if I actually had a family, you know, I wouldn't be as dejected, or just like, I would have more motivation to do things. I would have more, you know, more optimism, or more, how do I say this? There'd be more of a glow in the sun, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? If I actually had those things. But since I don't, I have to actively create these, like I said, income streams, so I can one day build a family and do that. Even though it's not possible now, I have to do that. But if I did have one, it would only help me even more. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have a family. I just can't. It's just, or not that I just can't. My mom's in Texas, and my parents are just kind of aloof. You know, they're just, everyone's doing their own thing. But the main thing is this: it's like, you need to, wherever you're at, if you're given everything, or if you're not giving everything, you still, wherever you're at, take that at face value and then go from there. Whatever you're missing out in life, if it's either financial wealth or just knowledge or whatever the hell, you have the ability to search, to look for that. You know? Yeah,
and shape your own reality. Like, also, what is it? Some of the monks, or even like maybe Buddhist mindset, that sorry, that's my phone. I forgot to mute it. That you really don't need. Well, materialism is another thing, but to not have to have anything. Like, we know that humans need to eat, breathe, and shit, whatever.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing in life is to love and be loved in return.
Yeah.
But everything else is just whatever your mind makes up, right?
Yeah.
Like,
everything.
oh, I really want to do piano, or I really want to do this. Well, it's just a pastime, I guess.
Well, those are luxuries.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But I could be homeless and probably be the happiest person on earth.
Possibly.
If
yeah.
If I found a piece of bread every day and was able to vibe out with some birds and maybe wave to some strangers as they drive by.
That's being content. Yes.
Yeah, and finding that within myself, like, it doesn't matter where I'm at or who's around me, if I can be happy with myself or this ego presence that's currently in 2021, I guess.
Right.
Or whatever the present moment is supposed to be. Just making the most of it, being content with yourself.
Yeah. Well, perfectly well said. Like I said before, like going back to this, the initial start of this podcast, that's what I wanted to mainly talk to you about and just kind of get your mind going. Because like once you make that piano album that you've been wanting to make, right? That you, like I said, you have to actively do it. But yes, eventually you will make a passive income stream of it, depending on how much it grows, right?
Yeah.
Because it starts from nothing. But like that's what I'm saying. Like it's never really passive because you have to like that piano album is going to be great wonders for you. It's going to do a lot of things for you. So I'm excited for you to get that out.
Absolutely, just personal growth. Like I don't want to set expectations, and I think that's another thing that I'd like to talk about in a future podcast since we're going to wrap up. But expectations, like I think there's so much misdirection with in relationships. Like what you expect out of people, that's a whole misunderstanding.
Yeah, no one owes you anything, and you don't know anyone anything.
Absolutely. And then just expectations of yourself is something like goals you can set, but also being aware that you don't want to overwhelm yourself or get completely absorbed in expectations rather than taking it at what you're saying face value.
Yeah.
But that would be for another time.
That'd be for another time. It's
do you have
huge
any
things.
closing thoughts or things that you want to talk about?
Well, no, it was just that. I wanted you to think about like your going back to it, just your piano album. Think about that, like whenever you make it, you put it out there, you have to still market it, you have to put it out, you have to, you have to actively do all these things for one day to it to be passive. The main thing is, yes, creating a financial stability, your financial independence.
Yes.
It's something that I've been trying to do for the longest time, but now, like I said, if we talked about this more, if other more intelligent people made, talked about this like this in a healthy way, the world will be in a better place.
Especially like
Absolutely.
I find it. There's so much I do want to talk about. I was talking with a few friends recently about even like sex. It's really interesting how when I grew up in a Christian household, like talking about that stuff was pretty much taboo.
Yeah, which it shouldn't. It should be not. It shouldn't be ever, because people need to know about that as soon as possible so that maturity can happen. So
Absolutely.
the mistakes don't happen. You know what I mean?
And it's just interesting, like the more genuine or like the more you can converse and understand and take out of conversations, that everybody will be better off.
Yeah. There's a point when you're ready, you know what I mean? But people decide that for you when they think they're ready,
Right.
Eventually, when you have a kid, you're going to tell them about this stuff too.
Yeah.
Hey, I gave it to your mom really good last night. Like,
And it's but it's also really cool to see, like, when you don't know something, I hope that, people have the genuine curiosity enough to just be able to ask questions. That's something I'm finding with myself to be more curious.
That's what I think.
So everybody, be more curious, ask more questions, and learn about yourself.
Exactly, man. That's exactly what I'm saying. So I'm glad that we got to do this. Let's roll it out with the last clip, just so we can get this out here. But by all means, man, this has been a great fucking podcast.
This has been. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, no, you have no. I'm gonna write this in my diary as well. But yeah, think about your financial standpoint of where we're gonna go and where you're gonna be in the next couple of years, because things are gonna change. I'm gonna be here for you. I always have been. So just think about like those kind of things, because I've been out for years now on my own.
Yeah, no, I would love to have your help and guidance with as I make these next few steps.
Yeah, man. I'll always be there. So regardless of that, let's do oh boy.
I'm concerned.
I think this one.
So are you gonna give up on piece of ass or what? Come on.
Hold on, that wasn't that one. Let's do one more. This one. I think it's this one. Yeah, this one's good. All right, that's a good one.
All right.
Later.
See ya.